Hello everyone, and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to look at the answers to this week's feedback challenge on writing example sentences for IELTS Writing Task 2. So we had a question we're going to have a look at. The question was, it has been suggested that cars and public transport should be banned from city centres and only bicycles be allowed instead. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So this was an opinion question. I've provided you with a topic sentence. So the main reason why I totally agree that cars and public transport ought to be prohibited and only bicycles should be allowed is because it reduces pollution. Okay, so we need to be thinking about how do we write an example that's going to support this idea. So we need to show that basically the use of bicycles rather than cars and public transport is going to reduce pollution. So let's go through some of the comments that we had in the chat. So first one, for example, in Norway, okay, so we've got a place, nice and specific, well done. Diesel cars were banned from Oslo's city's roads. So here we can just say Oslo's roads. We don't need to use the word city after Oslo. In Norway, diesel cars were banned from Oslo's roads and only eco-friendly transport was allowed there. And as a result, the pollution was reduced by more than 30% in 10 years. So rather than saying in 10 years of experience, we could talk about more than 1 year. So we're talking about over 10 years. So as a result, pollution was reduced by more than 30% over 10 years. Okay. So are we addressing the fact that we are getting rid of cars and public transport? So yes. Only eco-friendly transport was allowed there. What I would like to see here, rather than saying eco-friendly transport, so only bicycles. Because remember, we're specifically talking about bicycles. If you're talking about other, so some people would say public transport is eco-friendly, and that wouldn't then be supporting our idea. So we need to be mentioning that we're using bicycles and not cars. So this would maybe read a bit better. Diesel cars were banned from Oslo's roads and only bicycles were allowed there. And as a result, the pollution was reduced by more than 30% over 10 years. Great. Now you might be saying, but that wasn't real. It wasn't only bicycles allowed. Remember, you don't actually have to tell the precise truth. This is not a test of truth and facts. It is believable. So something very, very important with examples, and I think this is where a lot of students make mistakes. They go, okay, I'm going to make something up, but they make something up which isn't particularly believable. This, on the other hand, certainly is believable, and we have a result, which is also very nice here. So moving on to our next one, for example, again, all of these, you can see that these students are signposting their examples, which is really important. Make sure you do that. So for example, in many cities in the UK, a charging clean air zone has been introduced. So we could say a charging clean air zone doesn't really make sense. We could say maybe a clean air zone how do we say a clean air which has been introduced in their cities to improve air quality. Okay, so if we look at this, is it supporting the main idea? So it's definitely specific. We're talking about many cities of UK, excellent. A clean air zone, so this could have something to do with the question. We're talking about the charge, so which residents are charged to enter has been introduced. But has this banned cars or introduced bicycles? And at the moment, there's no mention in here of bicycles or the reduction of cars. So what this looks like we're giving an example to show that, okay, if you charge people to enter city centres, it might reduce pollution. But that's not what our question is talking about. If we look back at our topic sentence, remember, we've got to support our own topics sentence. Bicycles should be allowed because it reduces pollution. So this is our idea. We came up with this, so we have to support the idea that we came up with. So at the moment, if there's no mention of bicycles in here, it's not going to, or at least the reduction of cars and public transport, but really the only bicycles. If we don't have this mention of only bicycles being allowed here, it just is not supporting our main idea. So at the moment, this would not be a relevant or a strong example. Let's have a look at our next one. So for instance, the Netherlands has begun to restrict the use of motor vehicles and other forms of transport by making their roads more cycling friendly. I think cycle friendly is more of a natural term here. So other forms of transport by making their roads more cycle friendly. And therefore, after therefore, we're going to have a comma. This action has led to more bicycles being used in cities and a reduction in air quality. Netherlands has begun to restrict the use of motor vehicles and other forms of transport by making their roads more cycle friendly, and therefore this action has led to more bicycles being used in cities and a reduction in air pollution. So we actually use the word level here. Okay, so this would be more accurate. So it's a specific example. We're talking about a specific place, so this is nice. Motor vehicles, other transport are being restricted or removed. So this is definitely referring to the question. We've got more bicycles. So this is what our idea was. If there's more bicycles and we have a result of more bicycles there is a reduction of air pollution in the country. So this is covering all the important parts that we need in our example. And this is a relevant, good example. So good job to the student. Okay, let's have a look at our next one. So for example, Copenhagen is one of the top 5 cities that is listed pollution-free. So here, the way we're talking about it's listed is really awkward. Copenhagen, I think you say, have been listed as it has been listed as one of the top 5 cities. One of the top 5. So pollution-free here is still describing a city. So we need this in our modifier here. So top 5 pollution-free cities. As the majority of Danish people ride bicycles. Copenhagen has been listed as one of the top 5 pollution-free cities. As the majority of Danish people ride bicycles. Okay, so we're saying that we've got bicycles. This is reducing pollution. We've got a specific place. So this is definitely relevant. It's not specifically mentioning cars, but the most important thing is that more people are, or the majority of people are riding bicycles. So as a result of the majority riding bicycles, the minority are riding cars. So that part is implied in the language here. So this is definitely a relevant example. Just be careful of the collocations that you're using. Let's have a look at this one about Sweden. So for example, in Sweden, people ride bicycles more. So more people ride bicycles. So more is going to come before the main noun. Since they do not run on gasoline or diesel, it reduces pollution, which in turn, so this is an introductory phrase you want to cover, makes Sweden one of the least polluted countries in the world. Excellent. So lots of people are riding bicycles. They're not running on gasoline and diesel. This is reducing pollution. Exactly what we want to support. It's specific. So we've done a really good job with this example. Well done. So for example, so this is a capital letter mistake I see so many people make. Remember, after your for example, lowercase. There's no reason after a comma to have a capital letter unless you are writing a proper noun. So for example, in Qatar, so good, we've got a specific example. Many roads are modified to accommodate cycling lanes. Accommodate, maybe incorporate. After a full stop or comma, we need a space, which encourages people to use cycle. So cycles. So you could say encourage people to cycle or to use bicycles. As a native speaker is always trying to look for the least amount of words they can use, we're going to go with this. So which encourages people to cycle when traveling short distances in an effort to curb pollution. Okay, so we've definitely seen we've got more people are cycling. That's good. We've got a specific place. What we're not showing though is a result. Is this working? So we're showing this is why they've done it, but that's not it doesn't support your argument very much. Like, well, they've done it and they're hoping it will reduce pollution. So it'd be much better here to say, so pollution significantly. Read this through again, make sure we're right. In Qatar, many roads are modified to incorporate cycling lanes, which encourages people to cycle when traveling short distances. As a result, pollution has decreased significantly. Now we're showing that, okay, people are cycling. Because more people are cycling, pollution has been reduced. This supports our idea. So remember, anytime when you're writing an example and you're basically trying to show a solution of some variety, which is what we're doing here, we're trying to show there is a solution to pollution, we need to actually show a result to that solution. And now we have the two last examples we're going to have a look at. So for instance, in South Africa, again, specific, nice. People have become conscious of protecting the environment and therefore using bicycles as a here, and therefore they use, you run the clause here, they use bicycles as their means of transportation to reduce air pollution. So good is specific, good, they're using bicycles. They're worried about the environment, but we don't know if it has reduced air pollution. So again, it's not as strong as it could be. We really want to see this results. So, and therefore they use bicycles as their means of transportation, which has reduced air pollution. And this is quite a nice grammatical structure. If you want to add this result on, so you've given what people are doing, you want to add a result, you can use a relative clause here, so which has reduced, and we're using present perfect here because something's happened in the past and it's affecting the present. And now we're moving on to the final example we have. So for instance, in the UK, due to the increased pollution rate, so you don't really have a pollution rate. You can have due to increasing pollution. So we're using the gerund here as an adjective to describe the pollution. But due to the increasing pollution, anytime you use this due to at the beginning, you're going to have a comma at the end of the clause. We're talking about the specific government of England. So we'd need the government. So due to the increasing pollution, the government has increased the congestion charge of vehicles coming into central London in order to reduce air pollution. Okay, so this was very similar to our previous example. So this is showing how a certain city is trying to reduce pollution. But remember, our main idea is only bicycles should be allowed because it reduces pollution. So that's what we're trying to support, the fact we have bicycles. So we have to mention bicycles in our example. So here, this is a good example of showing how charges on vehicles might reduce pollution, but it's not a good way. So this is not an effective example because it doesn't mention bicycles at all. Okay, so this would not work for our essay. So I hope you learned something from the feedback from these essays. Thank you very much for everyone who submitted their comments. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel, especially if you're commenting on these videos. Please, if you can just hit a like button. I've noticed that there's a lot more comments than there are likes. Doesn't take more than 1 second to press the like button. It really helps the channel, and it allows me to keep doing all this for free. So if you can do that, we'll have a new challenge coming up very shortly. Have a great day. Good luck with your studies.